I want to say good evening for the Public Health and Safety meeting for February the 24th, 2025. At this time, we ask that everyone take a moment of reflection and memory for those who we lost. We ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and have a seat, please. This is the Public Health and Safety Committee meeting for February 24th, 2025. We have sitting in tonight, we have our Assistant Township Manager, John Bates. We have our Solicitor, Brianna, Brianna, what's your name? Brian, that's right. I keep on, I should know that because you and Kobe grew up together. Brianna Bryant. I'm Charles Whiting. This is Kip McFadrick. Our other commissioner is out sick tonight, so we're going to try to carry on without him. Okay? At this time, is there any public agenda items to? Public comment, yes.
Thank you. I come up here frequently to make the same public comment, and I'm not sure if it's really coming up on the agenda necessarily, but it's the speed in the township, so I'll direct this to our police chief. We have...
Hey, who are you?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner. I do it so frequently, I should do it right every time. I'm Susan Worth Lamanna, Ward 62. We have a township where we go from 25 miles an hour when we enter to 45 when we're flying out into Horsham. And that's just on Eastern Road. I have asked, and I'll continue to ask, that we ask the state to lower that speed so that we're going up the hill, and those of us who are aware of Easton Road, we go past a church, a school, another church, and by the time we get to the top of the hill, everybody is going 40 to 45 in anticipation of their rush to the turnpike. So we fly by our post office. Now, I'm a post office person because I have to do a lot of things using that particular public service. And I have to stop and I have to make a right-hand turn while people are yelling at me almost from the time I pass St. David, because I'm going 25. Because, okay, maybe I'll go 27 just to make y'all feel better. But nobody's going 25 half the time. And it's a pretty awful road, by the way. I mean, if you all go on Eastern Road, your tires may sound like my tires on my rather new car, right? Because that's how they go. I don't know how to get people to follow a 25 mile an hour. I'm a dead end street and they come down my street like, you know, where's the June fete? I think I'll go 50. It's 25 on Edge Hill. I've been passed every single day in the left-hand lane by somebody who resents the fact that it's 25 on Mason's Mill, it's 35 on Huntington Road. Thank you, Chief. You do have a flashing sign up there, and when I'm going up the hill on Huntington Road off of Turwood, I'm going 34. So I absolutely know how fast I'm going, and that's a little high when you're coming up over the hill and making that deep turn. And if those of you who drive the township as often as I do, you know how that is. So here we are. How do we teach ourselves that 25 means 25? It may mean 27, but it doesn't mean 45 passing in the opposite lane, whatever that is. I see it out, Commissioner Whiting, in where you so sanely pushed for 25 miles an hour coming down Fitzwatertown. when you cross over York Road. Nobody wants to do that either. I can't tell you how many international signs of despair have been shown to me by, I'm sure, otherwise rational people. But I go 25 because I care about the people coming off the hill to the left who can't get out on Fitzwatertown because somebody's going 50, somebody's going 45, somebody's going 35, and here I come along going 25. I have a lovely fast car, and frankly, I love to open it up, but I don't do that in the township because you wouldn't like it, and I would be breaking the law. So how do we fix it? Can we get people to follow the 25? And what do we do to do that? And what do we do about moving that 40-mile-an-hour permission off of Easton Road, further down, past the post office, so that, sure, you want to go past the Regency and scare the living daylights out of all those lovely people who live at the Regency who are trying to pull out. I don't think I can stop you because you're headed, you already can see the turnpike entrance right there, and you are determined to get there. But gosh darn, can we push it as far out as we can? Can we be the really tough township that really shows it's caring about its people by slowing us down? 25 used to mean 25. It clearly doesn't now. And you'll hear my lecture going forward, so hopefully whatever I can do to help you to do that, if I can write a letter to a state, you tell me who to write to, I'm good at it. I'd be happy to do it. I'm happy to get a whole bunch of people to do it too in the township. Safety's safety, and we need to slow down. We haven't had a kid killed on York Road since when, Commissioner? That young boy was hit out there, and that's what stopped us there. I don't want that to happen again, but York Road's another piece of the action. That's 35. I deliver food there every Monday off of York Road to several families, and I'll tell you, they're not happy with me because I have to turn my turn signal on and stop dead because I can't make a turn against people who are going 50 miles an hour coming at me. I just won't take that chance. So now I'm clogging up their left-hand turn lane because I'm coming down the hill off of Fitzwatertown, if you can follow me. They're not liking me either. So I would love it if we could just apply our brakes. And whatever ideas you have, I'll back them 100%. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. And if you think you have a problem there, think about the school buses that the people pass with the yellow lights flashing. And that's an accident and tragedy that we hope never happens. Chief, they're giving me some tough issues to solve, but
Yes, I will meet with our traffic safety unit to discuss those concerns and issues and just get some backstory as far as where we are with PennDOT, as far as the traffic study that would need to be conducted by them to reduce that speed, or at least start to address that speeding issue above St. David's going towards the turnpike. Obviously, that's something we need to take a good look at. We'll take a look at it.
thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will start our meeting. First, can we have the approval of the minutes from our January 27th meeting?
Yes, I have no problems with it.
No problems with that, we will move them on, thank you. Now we'll have our roll call. We'll start with our police chief, Chief Bendick, please give us a report.
Yes, sir. I've changed the monthly report a little bit to kind of make it a little bit more, I guess, readable for the general public. So I'll just go over, highlight some of the calls for service in January. So in January, we had 1,951 calls for service. I've listed the top 10 call types for the month of January. The most was traffic stop warnings, 424. You'll see there's additional calls there to include medical emergencies, general service calls, traffic stops, non-reportable crashes, and other things as well as disturbances. We had a total of 112 traffic crashes last month in the township, 26 being reportable, 86 non-reportable. We had 70 crimes reported, 30 of which were Part 1 crimes, 40 of which were Part 2 crimes. We had 62 total arrests in the township last month. I'm proud to say our traffic activity has increased. We had 585 traffic stops last month in the township. 264 citations were issued, 424 warnings, 8 parking violations, and 263 bus patrol violations. 70 contacts with the unhoused homeless. Additional.
Excuse me, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Can you say that one more time about the bus, please?
That's 263, Mr. Whiting.
263
Violations, yes, sir.
violations.
Last month alone.
What constitutes a violation?
That would be if once the school bus turns on their red lights, and the vehicle then passes the school bus. Under the bus patrol agreement, our traffic safety officers are actually reviewing every time one of those violations is sent to us, and the officers will actually review it, and if it is deemed appropriate, they will agree, and a citation will be issued. So that's 263 violations where the officers actually agreed that the individual had violated the motor vehicle code and passed a school bus while the red lights were flashing.
And that's 1 month.
1 month, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Additionally, we had 446 business checks, 172 direct patrols, and 5 vacant home checks. In the month of January, of the 30 Part 1 offenses that we had, 1 was an aggravated assault, the other 29 were theft offenses. Part 2 offenses last month include the following: frauds, 17 frauds, 10 DUIs, 4 drug offenses, 5 public drunk arrests, and 2 simple assaults. Notable investigations last month include an organized retail theft arrest. On January 2nd, the Criminal Investigations Division completed a 4-month investigation into an organized retail theft ring where individuals were committing various thefts at various stores in our region. This investigation was conducted with the Montgomery County Detective Bureau, which resulted in the identification of 5 individuals within this organization who have subsequently been charged with retail theft and related offenses. On January 9th, a resident of the municipality was defrauded out of a large sum of cash by unknown individuals over the phone. Criminal Investigations Divisions coordinated with the victim and obtained information about additional attempts that were being made towards getting her out of more money. On January 10th, officers conducted an operation where they were able to intercept a vehicle that was coming to pick up more money from the victim and defraud them of this their funds. So this individual was brought back to the station and questioned, and this investigation is continuing. January 10th, officers responded to the Walmart for a purse theft. An individual inadvertently left their purse in their cart. Subsequently, their individual had $1,700 in cash was taken out of her wallet, as well as credit cards and other valuable information and identification. Officers conducted an investigation, reviewed store surveillance, and were able to obtain a vehicle registration. Utilizing several investigative resources, officers were then able to identify the individual who took the purse, and that subject is subsequently in charge with theft. On January 14th, we had an incident at a residence in the Huntington Valley section of the township for an assault. It was found that one family member had attempted to cause members of his family harm, caused damage to the property, and fled the scene. When police were called, officers attempted to stop the vehicle, engage in a low-speed pursuit in the area before he was actually detained without any further damage or injury. He was charged with aggravated assault and related offenses. As far as other activity of the patrol division, there were 610 vehicle investigations, including 10 DUI arrests, which I alluded to earlier. The Traffic and Highway Safety Unit conducted 168 traffic stops, issuing 90 citations. The Detective Bureau opened 34 new criminal investigations, including 7 child line reports, 4 death investigations, 3 theft investigations, and 2 firearms investigations. One thing I've added to the report is to document some of the departmental training that's occurring on a monthly basis. Last month alone, department personnel attended 463 hours of training, and that training ranges from management schools to SWAT schools to mandatory in service. Also, officers are reviewing critical policies within the organization and the department, as well as other classes, including motor carrier training and death investigations. As far as community-oriented policing activities, we did welcome our newest intern from Penn State, who will be working with our evidence technician. Members of the department did also participate in the Red Cross Battle of the Badges blood drive in Hatboro. And also officers attended several events in conjunction with Catholic Schools Week within our area. Upcoming events, we will be hosting a drug take-back event on Saturday, April 26th at the Giant, and we will also be collecting food for the Willow Grove Baptist Food Pantry. And additionally, I alluded to this earlier, last month, we will be hosting our Citizens Academy again this year. That begins on March 19th. All residents are welcome to attend this event, which is 7 weeks on every Wednesday. It's a very interactive class, very informative nature, and that is available to be, sign up is available through our Parks and Recreation webpage in the township's website. Lastly, commendations received. We received 3 commendations for our officers' actions last month. This included a letter from Lower Merion Township for our assistance in apprehending a subject wanted for homicide in Lower Merion Township. Also, an email from a resident thanking members of the Traffic Safety Unit for their assistance with a recent traffic complaint. And also a card was received from a resident thanking Sergeant Claus for his assistance after a recent medical service call. That's all I have, Mr. Whiting.
Well, that's enough, man.
That's all?
Thank you. I tried to make it as fast as I can. I know Chief Block used to make it a little longer.
No.
Sure, it's tight. It's a tight race.
It's good.
Thank you, sir.
He'd just like to get his name out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Any commissioner comments here?
Yeah, this is an answer that I see. I don't know, Chief Bendy could clarify this. When you're saying about York Road and Easton Road, I don't think, and I work on both of those areas every day. There's not a day goes by I don't see cars pulled over by our police on Easton and York Road. It's a high traffic area. They are out there and it just seems like it's not slowing them down, even though there's always somebody being pulled over on both of them. And so that is, how do you slow people down? I don't know, because they have no problem getting a ticket, it seems like. And I got to commend your guy. I mean, they are out there writing tickets and stopping people on those 2 roads. Easton Road was 35 years ago. We had nothing to do with it. Next thing you know, we saw that the speed changed by the state. And I think we did go to them once already to see if they would go back. And obviously they didn't. So those are just a couple answers that I know of that has gone on here. And I said every month, same as you do, Charles, with this bus stuff. It's just amazing. People drive by and it's a $300 ticket, I think.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't go points, but still, $300, 250, and that's, at least it's lower. Usually it's 300 people a month. And they just, it's like they don't care. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other commissioner comments? Any public comments?
I just wanted to ask the chief about.
And who are you?
Still Susan Worth Lamanna. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Commissioner, Ward 6 too. Chief, as the original and still member of the Human Relations Commission, homeless contacts, it says 70, so that's 70 separate contacts with people. How many people then are we unhoused in the township that you can identify?
So again, we don't take their names so much.
Correct.
So what we're doing is we're doing an audit when they come in and stay in the lobby for each shift. So a great majority of them are repetitive contacts with individuals. I would say when I speak to my officers, they're saying there's approximately 7 to 8 people that they're seeing on a regular basis as far as that is concerned. And again, we are providing them. There are some additional resources that the county has opened up. Unfortunately, they're not locally.
They're not here.
No, and like I said, we're doing our best to try and at least point them in that direction, because again, this is not the most optimal way for them to be, living, and again, hopefully get them to some resources that we can get them to.
Would they want to go to those resources if they were here?
I do not know, ma'am. I think, you know, it's $1 million question. I don't know if due to the distance that they'd have to get, we have to get them there, they feel like being taken out of their comfort zone. So I don't know if it was somewhere here, if that would change the dynamic of that, but we are doing our best again to.
Are they mostly in the same area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Those are the questions I get asked, so I wanted updated answers on those things. Is it possible for the Human Relations Commission, I know we have point of service, we've done that in January, where we go out for the county. Is it possible for us to interview these people and find out what they want to do, other than being unhoused? I don't think we would go without the police department. Would I put that in an email to you, perhaps, as a request?
Absolutely, ma'am. We'll do whatever we can. Again, it is a concern of the residents, and again, of us as well. I mean, to try and get these individuals, where they can feel a little more safer and secure and feel a sense of being in a home, so again, whatever we can do. So please feel free to contact.
Okay, good.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Sure, it's next call. Commissioner Ward 1. Commissioner Lockhart and I have been exploring this issue for quite a while. The county has done a census a few months ago of homeless, and I think the number in Upper Warren was around 17 or 18. The issue of sleeping in the police lobby has been an issue for a long time. And recently, some people from the county came down to look at, I'm sorry, what was the name of the place? The Aldersgate House, as a facility that could be converted to an emergency shelter. I don't know where that is. I guess that we're waiting to hear from that. I'm sorry.
You're not Mike.
I am.
We've been meeting with the county to try to find a space for a shelter in Upper Warren. They were here recently to look at a certain building that's available, but nothing definite yet.
The Aldersgate House place needs sprinklers to be eligible to be used as an overnight place. I don't know what the county's going to do, but at least it's the first time they've come down and tried to do something. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, thank you. Chief Glassman, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's my pleasure to present the January 2025 Fire Department report. There are 86 fire calls, 24 EMS calls for a total of 110, 14 fire permits inspections completed. We collected $580 for those permits. Turnpike fees collected $450. PA recovery $1,602.25. The total collected so far is $2632.25. There are 16 fire marshal investigations. We presently have 35 part-time employees, 4 volunteers. We have 4 administrative members, and we have 4 members in Fire 1 class. And hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have a 5th recruit, because the guy just went to the doctors at the end of last week, so we're waiting for the doctor's report. Significant incidents, I attached 3 pictures, and I'll show you a PowerPoint with some different pictures when I'm done. January 9th, we had a vehicle drive across the retention pond around noon. If you remember January 9th, it was pretty frigid. We had to make a rescue, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We installed 4 smoke detectors in a residence. We attended 3 community events with 30 people. We had 28 personnel for training for a total of 242 hours. On the emergency management side, I participated in the Montgomery County Emergency Management Meeting and the Eastern Montgomery County Emergency Management Meeting. Can you put the slides on, please? It's only 3 or 4 slides, but I think it's important. The one thing that I want to say, Commissioners, it was an incredible operation by the police, fire department, and second alarmers, and a little help from the men above. As you can see, that car drove all the way across the pond. It came out of the YMCA, and there's a blacktop walkway that the lady thought was a roadway. She turned down the walkway and drove across. She made that far to the pond. Next slide. I still don't know how this happened at 12 in the afternoon, and when I'm driving up there, I'm thinking, what can this possibly be? Because we were getting all this information about the cars up, the water's up over the hood, there's a victim in the water. By the grace of God, we found out later that car was only held up by a tree in the water, and it was about 8 foot deep. So this could have been a horrible incident. Next slide. Luckily enough, it was close enough, because somebody was looking down on us, where we could get a portable ladder, get a guy in a suit, take the window out, next slide, get her into a Stokes basket and pull her on the shore. There they are getting her out. She'll get into that Stokes basket and they'll pull her across. Last slide. That picture right there speaks volumes to me. That right there is the police, fire department, and second alarmers working together to literally save that lady's life. That's an incredible operation by all emergency services. The lady is unharmed. Incredible, incredible. Thanks to everybody who participated. And that concludes my report.
Wow. Well, you forgot you had a little fire too you went to, right?
So I'm assuming you're meeting the Abington fire. We were down there for about 12 hours the first time and about 2 hours the second time, the second afternoon. And then when they came back, we went over to Bernathen for about 2 hours on Buck Road later that night. I think this was single-handedly the busiest 7-day period in my 3.5-year tenure here. It was a crazy, crazy busy week. Crazy. We're already over 200 calls for the year and we're still into February. It's crazy.
We appreciate everything you and your guys do. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Talking about lifesavers, you guys are lifesavers. Okay, any commissioner comments after this? Any public comments? Once again, Chief, we want to say thank you and your guys for what you guys do.
You're welcome.
Okay, tonight we have a guest. Oh yeah, Chris Kaiser's here from Second and Larbers. And he's not going to give a report, a written report, but he's going to talk slightly about the SPS effect on the Second and Larbers, because they were there too. Go ahead, Chris, give us a little word.
Commissioners, thank you. Ken apologizes, he's not able to make it tonight, family commitments. Our reports will be late this month due to the fire at the SPS, and we had a couple training sessions last week on some new heart monitors that we received. So we'll have everything together for next month for you guys. As far as the SPS fire goes, I mean, in the 20-some years I've been here, that was probably one of the worst events that I've ever seen. And we were there around the clock, 24/7, providing emergency services to all the crews that were out there and all the resources that they had come in. So we were out there till probably the very last day, swapping crews out and whatnot. So it was very long. The weather didn't help, obviously, but so that was pretty much it. I'm sure Ken will allude on that when he sends his reports in. That's it.
Any commissioner comments for Chris? No? Any public comments for Chris? Chris, we thank you and your crew also for what you do. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We have no old business. We have no new business, but we do have an action that Brianna Bryant is going to talk to us about a legal matter. Brianna, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. In the meeting last month, there was an issue or a concern from a resident regarding homeowners renting properties. So our office did look into the issue. The issue was about residents, property owners creating long-term rentals within their own properties, and if there was any way to prohibit or restrict it within the township. Because the property owners own their property and it's a long-term rental, not a short-term rental as in an Airbnb or something similar to that extent, there's not much that the township can do to limit the property owners from what they decide to do with their property. There is some things that the township can do, including inspections and things like that to help maybe with the fees to slow it down, but for the most part, the township cannot legally enforce or prohibit property owners from doing long-term rentals within their own properties.
Okay. Any commissioner comments about that?
Nope.
Okay.
Were you here for it?
If you don't mind. Yeah, Nancy Walker, I'm, I guess, Ward 1, 2. Thank you very much for looking into that. I understand that as a homeowner, right now, there's nothing we can do. Is there anything we can do potentially to slow it down? Making sure that, Cheryl Locker and I discussed really briefly, like making sure that properties were, because right now properties are being sold and immediately rented out. So these aren't long-term homeowners who are moving on to another house and keeping the house in Moreland. People are buying them to rent them. So if there's anything that can be done to make sure that properties are on the market for long enough that people who want to actually live here can buy them, because an all-cash offer coming in from an investor is very attractive, especially to a real estate agent, because it means a really quick sale with very little work. Or potentially saying you have to own a property for 6 months, a year before you rent it out. I don't know if those are things that could be explored or considered or.
Yeah, so those were among the issues that we did research, but unfortunately, there is not a limitation the township can impose on a property owner, whether they own the property for 6 months or a year or less, if they choose to purchase the property with a cash offer or however they choose to purchase the property and then to make rentals, that's up to them as a property owner and their rights.
And even make sure that if something is listed, that it's listed for a period of time.
I don't know. I can look into it more further, but for the most part, in our research that we've done within the last month, there isn't any restrictions that we can put on someone to have a longer time period that they're selling their home or have it up for.
So.
I know, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brianna.
She mentioned it, but I did read, I think it's, and maybe it can only be done at the state level, but I think it was New York. They were talking about putting something in place where a property had to be on the market for a certain number of days before it can be sold to an investor, to give regular buyers the chance. So I don't know if that's something you can look into too.
Yeah, I can definitely continue to research the issue. I think that if it's still in the works in New York, it's probably because it's not actually happening just yet in different states, but I can look into it.
Okay. Yeah, because there's two issues. There's the concern with the rentals. They're not going to take as good care of the property. And then also these investors are just driving up the price of the homes for regular people to buy, which is a shame. Thank you.
Welcome.
We just keep beating this one up, but also the other issue is,
You want to say,
it's Nick Skull again.
Oh, yeah, Nick.
The issue is after the house is rented out, you can't get a hold of the owner because it's a bank in California. And maybe we could have some kind of regulation that there's a person to get in touch with, when they, in the deed or somewhere along the process, so that, when the property does go bad or the tenants are bad tenants, there's someone we could contact. But another thought.
Okay. Any other comments? We stand adjourned. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
good.